Couple days ago, I received a message requesting that if I can interview a parish priest in one of the churches in Jakarta, Indonesia, who, according to the person who approached me, that this priest has not exercised his priesthood ministry and has abused his power over many things in his parish. The group sent a petition to the bishop 3 times, but no response was given. After these long conversations, there are around 121 of them, I asked a question. How about your faith amid this crisis and challenge? Have you and your friends still practice your Catholic faith? Yes, they said happily, despite the fact that they didn't go to their own parish anymore. We are questioning the figure of the church, they said, adding that not the Catholic faith. I was glad to hear that. And I told them that you are an example of someone who perseveres your faith despite the challenges or difficulties you have faced in your lives. Dear brothers and sisters, I'm sure we all had our faith put to the test in various ways. We frequently struggle to make sense of what we are going through, difficulties and challenges. And this, in the light of the gospel today, called the dark side of our lives. Our relationship with God does not or do not protect us from darker aspect of life on its own. Our faith in the Lord has to be strong enough to endure the experience of evil and suffering. To believe in God means to face the darkness with hope, even with love. The gospel reading, dear brothers and sisters, that we just heard, Jesus very deliberately talks to his disciples about the darkness that will come their way. When they comment on the beautiful building that was the temple in Jerusalem, Jesus tells them bluntly that one day it will be destroyed. We know the temple was the Jewish representation of God's presence. Yet, Jesus could see it was doomed. A fall of the temple is but one element of very dark sin that Jesus describes. A sin that includes natural disasters, terrible wars, and persecution of his own followers. Jesus was alert to the darkest side of life at that time because he was on the threshold of having to face his own very personal experience of darkness. Passion, death were imminent for him. So, my dear brothers and sisters, Jesus clearly wanted his disciples, in other words, to have faith that was strong enough to deal with darkness of evil and suffering. Your endurance will win you your lives. We heard in the gospel reading, an enduring faith is a faith that never loses hope in God's power to bring good out of evil, new life out of death. An enduring faith is ready to hope against hope. As Christians, as Catholics, Our approach to life is shaped by the events of Easter Sunday, resurrection. The evil and sin that were not the hill of Calvary were not the least words of Jesus. God worked powerfully through that dark experience for the healing and salvation of all, including the salvation of those who brought that darkness about. When the darkness of sin and evil seems to be at its most powerful, we are called to have a faith that endures. Such endurance, my dear brothers and sisters, is not just the result of willpower on our part. It is the Lord who keeps us faithful. We heard in the gospel also, Jesus tells his disciples that he himself will give them eloquency and wisdom they need when their faith is tested. When our own faith is put to test, we will not be standing alone. God has promised this in the gospel story today. Jesus himself was tempted and to run away from darkness that was coming to him in the Garden of Gethsemane. Yet, his prayer gave him the strength to keep going. Today, more than ever, we who have been baptized into the Lord's body also needs to stay in the same course. As today's gospel reading puts it, dear brothers and sisters, this is your opportunity to bear witness the last part of the gospel. The Lord indeed calls on each one of us to keep faithful, bearing witness to Him by what we say and do in our homes, in our place of work, in our parish, in wherever we are. We will need each other's example if we are to be faithful to His call. Like a group of people in the story in Jakarta, Indonesia that I just told, the endurance of any one of us is an inspiration to us all.